Hey everyone, Ryan Bolton here, and I am a Bible nerd. I love that quote by C.S. Lewis, and I wanted to actually show you some of the books that I've read that have affected me and helped me in my Christian walk outside of the Bible itself. And I just want to go through my collection and show you some of the ones I reference also the most. And love to get your comments, feedback, see which one of these are also in your list. And if you have any others you'd recommend, I'd love to hear what you have and what's helped you. So let's start off with the first one. I think this one start me down the road of reading as much as anything else other than the Bible itself, and that is Mere Christianity, right here. C.S. Lewis. I love C.S. Lewis. I've actually been reading Abolition of Man again for the first time, just because it gets really deep. I mean, there's some really good stuff in there, but this one here is a great book. So hopefully you have it in your collection. If not, I'll give you kind of a brief description of this book. So C.S. Lewis was invited by the radio at the time, the BBC in London, to speak about theism and religion and Christianity. You got to think this is a time of war. Germany's marching all over Europe. What a crazy time. And to have this on the radio was just an amazing testament, not only to C.S. Lewis, but what was going on in the world at that time. So I love this book, not only because it does talk and break down some great points about Christianity, but I love the beginning of it. It just breaks down a foundation of theism. In fact, it even says you're not within 100 miles of the God of Christianity in the beginning of this book. So it really lays out a great foundation for theism along with Christianity. So this is a go-to. Love it. Love reading it. Just love the style of it. Just one of my favorites. The next one is a really good book right here. Hopefully there's not too much glare on there. The Case for Christ. What a great book. Lee Strobel has written a bunch of other books, but this is kind of what started it all, so to speak. He was a journalist, and his wife had an experience that kind of started leading her towards Christianity, but he was heathenistic and atheistic and wasn't anything for it. He was having a conversation with one of his fellow journalists, and he basically said, hey, you're a journalist. Go figure this thing out. Go prove it. If you can disprove the resurrection, then all of Christianity falls apart. So he goes on this active, very journalistic view of the resurrection. And this is all in the book here. An incredible, incredible book of his journey of trying to disprove the resurrection through journalistic means, and his story of what it took for him to go through that. I think it was over a year that he was studying this. So really, really good book. One of my favorites. The title alone is well done, Frank. I mean, just an incredible job. Here we go. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. You know, it's funny that certain words get hijacked, if you will, or stolen by either religion or politics or science or economics or whatever. And faith is kind of that word that religion is kind of, that's ours. You know what I mean? So I love how he kind of spins that and says it takes more faith to believe in things that an atheist believes than what a Christian believes. And I love how it's broken down in this book, all the different talking points, so many key things in this to help you combat the scientific atheist kind of viewpoint. That this is brilliant. This is such a wonderful reminder that there is a mind behind all this. There's a watchmaker, if you will, a clockmaker, as somebody that turned the whole thing on. There is a creator, and I just love this book for that reason. Frank does an amazing job. Cross-Examine has a lot of stuff about this book and other things that he does. It's just a great, great go-to. All right, my next one is Letters to an Atheist. Hopefully, sorry, I'm getting some glare on the thing there, but I'm still getting used to how cameras and microphones and all that work, but this is a very new channel. But anyway, Letters to an Atheist. Hopefully you can see that. What I love about this book is how real it is. It's letters between a non-believer and a pastor. And in this book, you only get the letters back from the pastor to the atheist, then they write back and he responds. So you only see kind of one side of the conversation, but I like it. It's unique how it's written in that way, kind of a screw tape letter kind of thing where you're only seeing the response. So you have to kind of figure out what the atheist was asking, and it's pretty easy to figure it out. And sometimes they'll even address it specifically, but this gets into some really real world conversations. You know, it gets into stuff that we have as believers and non-believers. And I just love how real it gets. And I just love the authenticity of it and the way that it's put together to be just conversational. I really like this book. All right, next one. Here's another great title. Bam. Mary Magdalene never wore blue eyeshadow. What this one reminded me is there's so many times, whether it's pop culture, music, Christmas time, Easter time, denominational things, it's, you know, movies, whatever it is, there's times where what's in the book kind of gets mushed with that. And all of a sudden we start thinking things are in there that aren't. or there's assumptions that are made that aren't. Or so I really like how this helps you to make sure that you go to the Bible first and kind of empty your cup, so to speak, and don't bring in thoughts about what's in there until you actually get in there and read it. And sometimes that can be defensive. Sometimes we have these ideas that are so core to us that if they get challenged, it almost becomes a personal attack, almost to the point where it feels like a physical attack, especially nowadays. I mean, everybody's getting physically hurt with words more than I've ever seen. So it is something where I like how this book reminds you to go to the Bible first and just make sure that whatever conceptions or whatever you thought was in there, whether again it's pop culture or something else that's just kind of mushed together with religion, that you separate that and realize that what's actually in there. So I just really like how this breaks down some common myths or common traditionals collides and pop culture colliding with the Bible. Really like this one. All right, next one. Bam, right there. The Complete Bible Answer Book. Lots of really good questions are in here and a lot of good responses. So Hank Hanegraaff had a radio show. I think he still does. Sorry if I don't know if he still does. But he has a ton of just great little questions in here. And there's so many times where a question will come up and I'll just kind of try to see if it's in here. So you can see some references there. Hopefully you can see those. And there's all kinds of different topics. And then he'll just have kind of a 1 or 2 page summary on it and then lead you to other points, maybe directly to the Bible or other scholars or something like that. So really, really love this one. This is great. Lastly, my newest book. I don't know how I didn't know about this one, but a friend of mine actually turned me onto it and I just got it. Just came in the mail. Bam. And I've just started to open it up. And I really like the stuff on the back. I've kind of read that and then maybe the foreword. And I really like the idea of what this is trying to convey, that we need to get better at discussing our Christian beliefs. I'm really big on that. I think when you start talking with believers or non-believers, we all have talking points, whether it's religion or left or right politics, whatever it is. We always have these talking points, and that's as far as we need to go because it never gets pushed past there. And I like these kind of conversational type things to be able to go just a little bit deeper. Now, eventually, it's all going to come down to faith. It really is. Whether you're an atheist or not, eventually I believe that. But I like having the heart and head knowledge go deeper before it has to be just purely a heart knowledge type thing. So that's why I love studying this stuff, is I like being able to have a little bit more talking points, if you will, but more than that, just go deeper than that. And what do I really believe? What is the belief behind it? And if somebody does question or ask it, do I even have an answer to why I believe it? Without first just going to, I just believe. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. So I like being able to go a little deeper than the first couple layers. And that's what all this is about. All this is about trying to study this guy every single day. I love this stuff. I'm a Bible nerd. I just love this stuff. So let me know what you think of this collection. I have some other ones up here that may be in the collection you have as well. But if there's one that you really love, please put it in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys are reading. And if there's anything I need to jump on as well. And I'm going to do a real deep dive on this one. Just going to start this one. I'm actually going out of town, so I'm going to have some downtime to be able to get through this sucker. So love it. Just love this stuff. I hope you guys do too. So let me know what you think of the video. Let me know the books you're reading. Please click and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. God bless.